once you close on a property, that's where the real fun begins.
Yeah.
And from my experience, this picture showing a room stripped down to the studs, this must have been a very fun project for you.
Yeah.
So what happened to cause this mess?
So the previous picture that you see over there, if you go back about the kitchen there, so this is the picture that I got from the inspector. So you look at a kitchen, and he's like, oh, that looks good, or good enough. The problem is on the left corner, that's actually where the wall is at, or was. So that entire area was the kitchen. And this is a 4-bedroom home. And the kitchen is, the size, it's 7 by 15. And that is the kitchen right there. So as soon as I walk in, I'm like, oh, heck no, bro. This is not going to work out. Not in this area, knowing what I know. Oh my gosh, here we are. And again, going back, decisive decisions from the beginning, I said, okay, well, that can't be the kitchen. So start tearing up some walls. My favorite thing to do.
At least from like HGTV shows, that's definitely the most fun part. For you, since you're knowing doing that is starting to eat into your pocketbook, it's probably not as exciting. So how did that decision and realizing what you're going to have to do now, how did that change your project, your plan?
Well, we, at this point, that was not the only other problem. The other problem was, another big problem was that the roof was supposed to be in quote, okay condition. And the inspector went in there and he says, I can't figure out why it's doing what it's doing. I think it has a very interesting structure in the roof. So it looked like...
The inspector said interesting.
Yeah. So it looked like a Chinese building like this with 2 points up on the top. So you see, that was actually them putting up studs to hold the roof, and they attached those pieces of wood to the stud. So what ended up happening, it started sinking, and the studs were poking out. So as soon as we saw that, I was like, well, I can't make it a Chinese-looking house, so I gotta tear everything up. So we tore up the roof too and fixed the problem.
You have the kitchen. Now you have the roof. Well, before the kitchen was the location.
Yep.
Now you have the kitchen, then the roof. And what's going on here? So if you can't tell, in this video, we have some concrete that appears to be inside the house. You typically don't see holes in your slab inside the house, especially holes that are exposing plumbing lines. So what's going on here?
Turns out that the drain emptied on the underneath the slab. So there was a big hole, and it just kind of seeped to the floor and went outside.
It was a makeshift septic tank?
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on here. So now we got to work on the plumbing too.
All right. And these are all very cheap things to do. You're talking about.
Yeah. Actually, for me, it is. Again, you have to remember, we have control over this. So any change that I make is basically a cost of days.
Well, so let's be fair. Cheaper.
Yeah.
There's still a cost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both in time and money.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely, controlling your own crews, you have a little bit more control over the elements than if you're hiring an outside GC.
Oh, he would have killed me. He would have destroyed me, an outside GC. This was not the property for it, 100%.
All right, so you were originally anticipating $35,000.
Yeah.
What was the final cost?
It ended up being about 60 when you said all said and done.
60,000.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take? Like you were planning 4 weeks, right? 4 or 5?
Yeah, 5 weeks. No, but here's the problem also, because we were doing several flips at the time as well. And so we bought it in November, and it was not up in rotation. We figured, we got time, but November, December, January, the house is not going to sell anyway. So we didn't start on that property until actually January, February or so, because we kept pushing it to the back. So we didn't start until probably already February or so. And we start construction. It took us about 2.5 months or so. Yeah.
So about double the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you started later. And I'm sure your lender was happy to let you have it for free interest until you started it, right?
Yeah, he literally said, Jaime, we've done so many deals together. I trust you.
He trusts you.
Okay.
He was collecting those checks.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right.
It's all good.
Now it turned out all right though. Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice. So talk about you did a lot of stuff to the roof.
Show them the front again, because I think
So we're gonna click back here. If you look at the front, it's flat.
it's a rectangle. It's a long rectangle. And again, I'm in a bad area, and I got to drag people out there. So what do we say? Well, we jacked up the roof already, so we have to fix it. So I told the guys, I was like, you know what? We're gonna make it look amazing now, and we did. So we started giving it a design, breaking it up more, making it look really attractive from outside, and that way we can start drawing in people with nice pictures. So
Yeah, you did a good job there. Like the carpet feel is just night and day difference. And so this picture shows your fully remodeled kitchen.
yeah, that's one. Yeah, so on the left hand side, that's where the kitchen used to be. Do you see that little hole on the left?
Mm-hmm. That was it?
Yeah, the kitchen went in there. So we're extending all the way from the left-hand side all the way to the right. So something that we really wanted to do, we knew it was going to be a country house. We knew we needed to attract that kind of buyer, and we needed him to not really care about what was going on in that area and just wow himself with the house and say, you know what, I'm going to stay here. So we put a washroom on the left-hand side where the kitchen was, and that was probably 6x6. Then we put a pantry that was probably another 7x6. And then the kitchen started and expanded all the way to the outside. That door, we moved it from the left to the right.
Looks good. Good job there. And look at the back. So if you can tell from that old picture, I'm gonna flip back.
That's the back. Yeah.
Love the landscaping job they had going on here, but I think your design's better.
Yeah, we cleaned it up. We tore down that little shed they had out there. We put siding on the sides, just because we gave it a modern look. We really wanted to make it look good.